An island nation carried the war into the sky, where distance meant death or survival. Over the vast Pacific, speed, range, and doctrine decided who ruled the air. These aircraft would define Japan's rise and its destruction in World War II. Mitsubishi A5M 1936, introduced in 1936, the Mitsubishi A5M was Japan's first modern carrier-based monoplane fighter. It marked a clean break from biplane-era thinking. The aircraft emphasized agility and pilot skill over protection. Open cockpit and fixed landing gear reflected early monoplane design limits. Combat over China gave Japan invaluable experience. Pilots learned aggressive turning tactics. The A5M dominated outdated opponents initially. However, rapid aviation advances soon caught up. By 1941, it was already obsolete. Still, it laid the foundation for everything that followed. Nakajima Kai-27 1937, the Kai-27 entered service with the Imperial Japanese Army in 1937. It was extremely light and highly maneuverable. Doctrine favored close-in dogfighting. Firepower and armor were minimal. Early success reinforced existing beliefs. China campaigns shaped pilot confidence. However, speed and protection lagged behind global trends. By World War II, it was outdated. Many units still relied on it early on. It bridged old and new air combat eras. Nakajima B-5N 1937 entering service. In 1937, the B-5N became Japan's primary torpedo bomber. It combined range, speed, and payload. Carrier operations were its main role. Crew coordination was critical. It played a central role at Pearl Harbor. Early naval victories followed. Defensive protection was weak. Losses mounted later in the war. Despite this, it remained operational for years. The B-5N reshaped naval air warfare. HID-3A 1938. The HID-3A entered service in 1938. It was slow but exceptionally accurate. Dive bombing doctrine suited Japanese carrier tactics. The aircraft attacked ships with precision. Pearl Harbor highlighted its effectiveness. Its rugged structure handled steep dives. Defensive armament was limited. Losses increased as Allied defenses improved. Yet pilots trusted its reliability. The D-3A defined early Japanese naval airstrikes. Kawanishi H-6K 1938, introduced in 1938, the H-6K extended Japan's maritime reach. It conducted long-range reconnaissance. Flying boats suited island warfare. They patrolled vast ocean areas. Early warning was their main value. Armament was defensive only. They were vulnerable to fighters. Still, intelligence gathered was crucial. They supported naval strategy. The H-6K represented early Pacific surveillance power. Mitsubishi A6M Zero 1940 entering service. In 1940, the Zero shocked the world. Unmatched range defined its dominance. Extreme agility overwhelmed Allied fighters early. Weight-saving design sacrificed protection. Pilots relied on skill and tactics. Early victories built its legend. Allies adapted with new strategies. Losses increased steadily after 1943. Despite this, it remained iconic. The Zero symbolized Japanese air power. Nakajima Kai-43 Hayabusa 1941. Introduced in 1941, the Kai-43 became the Army's main fighter. Agility remained the priority. Pilots praised its handling. Firepower was limited. Early success followed experienced pilots. Survivability issues soon appeared. Allied aircraft gained superiority. Production continued regardless. It fought across Asia and the Pacific. The Kai-43 reflected Army doctrine fully. Mitsubishi G4M 1941. The G4M entered service in 1941. Its design emphasized range above all. Heavy payloads were carried long distances. Early naval strikes succeeded. Lack of armor proved disastrous. Allies nicknamed it for its vulnerability. Losses mounted rapidly. Yet production continued. Fuel shortages later limited use. The G4M symbolized strategic compromise. Kawanishi H-8K 1942. the H-8K entered service in 1942. It was one of the best flying boats of the war, heavily armed for self-defense. Exceptional range allowed bold missions. Allied pilots respected its toughness. Interception was difficult. Production remained limited. Fuel shortages reduced operations. Its technology was advanced. The H-8K represented Japan's flying boat peak. Yokosuka D-4Y Suisai, 1942. Introduced in 1942, the D-4Y replaced earlier dive bombers. It was faster than predecessors. Designed with a streamlined airframe, performance improved attack survivability. However, structural weaknesses existed. Late war production quality declined. It carried bombs effectively. Some variants were adapted for suicide missions. Operational flexibility was notable. The D-4Y reflected evolving needs. Nakajima Ki-84 Hay-8, 1943, entering service in 1943, the Ki-84 was Japan's best army fighter. Speed and firepower matched Allied aircraft. Protection was improved. Performance was excellent when maintained. Production quality varied. Fuel shortages limited effectiveness. Pilot training declined late war. Still, it posed serious threats. It represented Japan's technological catch-up. The Ki-84 came too late. Mitsubishi J-2M Raiden 1943. The J-2M entered service in 1943 as an interceptor, designed to defend the home islands. Climb rate was prioritized. Handling was demanding. Armament was heavy. Mechanical issues plagued early models. Later versions improved reliability. It faced high-altitude bombers. Numbers remained limited. The Raiden reflected defensive urgency. Nakajima Ki-49 Donryu, 1941. The Ki-49 entered service in 1941. Designed to be self-defending, armor and guns were emphasized. Range and payload suffered. Performance disappointed expectations. Losses were still significant. Upgrades failed to fully fix issues. It served across Asia. Production continued despite flaws. The Ki-49 showed design trade-offs. Mitsubishi Ki-67 Hiryu 1944. Introduced in 1944, the Ki-67 was a modern bomber. Speed and durability improved survivability. It could perform multiple roles. Torpedo and bombing missions were possible. Late introduction limited impact. Fuel shortages restricted operations. Pilot training was declining. Some were used in suicide roles. It showed late war modernization. The Ki-67 arrived too late to change outcomes. Yokosuka MXY-7 Oka 1944. Entering service in 1944, the Oka was a rocket-powered weapon. Designed solely for suicide attacks, carried beneath bombers. Extreme speed defined its concept. Launch aircraft were vulnerable. Interception often occurred before release. Operational success was limited. It reflected desperation. Resources were nearly gone. The Oka marked the war's grim end. Japanese aircraft evolved from elegant agility to desperate extremes. Early dominance gave way to attrition and scarcity. The Pacific sky recorded both ambition and collapse.